What if I told you that your erection problems aren't caused by aging, but by something far more silent, something clogging the very veins inside your manhood, cutting off the flow of life, of sensation, of confidence? And no one ever told you? It sounds shocking, I know, but thousands of men over 60 are walking around with what I call silent pelvic shutdown. No morning wood, frequent urination, numbness down there, and worst of all, a fading sense of masculinity. But what if the solution isn't a pill or a procedure? What if it's already sitting in your home in the form of 2 simple oils and just a few minutes of your time? My name is Dr. Mohit Kara. I'm a professor of urology and a men's health physician with over 30 years of experience helping men like you regain their strength, their circulation, and their connection, not just physically, but emotionally. And what I'm about to share isn't theory. It's a proven protocol I've used in my own practice. Because the real paradox is this. When you mix castor oil with 1 natural essential oil and rub it below the waist, the right way, in the right places, circulation begins to return. Warmth comes back. Sensation follows. In today's video, I'll show you exactly how to do it, step by step, along with 3 hidden causes of erectile decline, a powerful blend to restore blood flow, ancient acupressure points, and 1 nutrition trick that locks in the result. Before we begin, if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss another natural, science-backed tip designed especially for men over 60. And if you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. So I know how to make this content even more useful for you. Let's start with the truth most men never hear from their doctors. And it's the very first reason why so many men over 60 lose their natural erections, even when their heart, hormones, and labs all seem fine. It all begins with something almost invisible: the slow, silent decline of blood flow to the pelvic region, and the clogging of the very veins that once brought you life, sensation, and strength. 1. The real reason erections fade after 60, and why it's not your fault. I still remember the first time a patient looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I feel like that part of me just disappeared." He was 71, a proud man, used to fixing engines and building things with his hands, but when it came to his body, he felt helpless. Not because he lacked desire, not because he didn't love his wife, but because nothing worked the way it used to. No more morning stiffness, no real response even when the moment was right. He thought he was broken, but he wasn't. And if you felt something similar, neither are you. The truth is, after age 60, the smallest blood vessels in your body, the microvessels that feed the penis, the prostate, the lower abdomen, start to harden and narrow. You can't see it, you don't feel it happen, but slowly, circulation gets cut off, like a stream drying up. The result? Erections fade, sensation dulls, that feeling of aliveness in the lower body slips away. What makes this even more frustrating is that most men still have the desire. The spark is there, but the system that delivers the blood no longer responds. And it's not because you're old. It's because your circulation has been quietly restricted by decades of stress, sitting, inflammation, and neglect. And nobody warned you. But here's the good news. Once you understand what's happening, once you know where the block is, you can start to restore flow. And it doesn't require surgery or pills. It starts with touch, warmth, and the right oils. Because while blood flow may be the first piece of the puzzle, it's only the beginning. What happens when the lymphatic system gets sluggish and toxins begin to build up in the pelvic region? That, my friend, is where even deeper trouble begins, and where the next part of this journey takes us. 2. The deep healing power of castor oil. Castor oil was something I used to overlook. In medical school, it was barely mentioned. If anything, it was brushed off as some old folk remedy your grandmother might have used for constipation or dry skin. But years into my practice, after listening to older men describe the strange numbness, the lack of blood flow, the loss of identity down there, I began to revisit this oil through a new lens. What I found changed the way I help my patients today. Castor oil is different from other oils. It has an unusual ability to penetrate deep into the body's tissues, beyond the surface, past the skin, into the layers where nerves, blood vessels, and lymph nodes live. And that matters, especially after 60, when the lower body becomes stiff, stagnant, and heavy from years of sitting, inflammation, and lack of circulation. That's where castor oil works its quiet magic. I'll never forget Mr. Walter, age 74. He came to me with tears in his eyes, saying, "I haven't felt anything down there in almost 2 years." We didn't start with pills. We didn't need to. We simply applied warm castor oil to his lower abdomen and inner thighs every evening, 3 times a week. Within 2 weeks, he came back with a spark I hadn't seen before. He said, "I feel like something switched back on." That, my friend, is the power of flow returning. But castor oil does more than stimulate blood. It activates the lymphatic system, your body's silent detox network. Especially in the pelvic region where toxins often gather with age. When the lymph starts moving, tissues come alive again, sensation returns, and men start to feel whole in their bodies once more. Still, there's one missing piece. Castor oil may carry the message deep, but it needs a partner to soften the tissue, open the vessels, and truly unclog what time has hardened. And that secret lies in the sharp, earthy scent of a tree you've known your whole life, yet never imagined could heal you from the inside out. 3. Pine essential oil, the tissue softener that unclogs the veins. The first time I opened a bottle of pine essential oil in the clinic, I wasn't expecting much. It smelled like a walk through a forest. Fresh, earthy, sharp, familiar. But I'll admit, I was skeptical. That scent brought back memories of childhood hikes with my father, not healing, not blood flow, not erections, and yet it would go on to become one of the most powerful tools I now use with my patients. You see, as men age, the tissues in the pelvic region become not just restricted, but hardened. Decades of acidic inflammation, shallow breathing, and inactivity cause the microvessels in the area to constrict. The skin may look the same, but deep inside, the tissues lose their softness, their stretch, their ability to receive blood. This is where pine oil comes in, not just as a scent, but as a biological softener. Pine essential oil is mildly alkaline, meaning it helps neutralize the excess acidity that builds up in stagnant tissue. It reduces inflammation in capillary walls, improves microcirculation, and gently dilates blood vessels that have been tight and closed off for years. When mixed with castor oil, which delivers it deep into the tissue, something almost electric happens. I recall one patient, Ronald, 68 years old, healthy by all outward measures. He walked every day, didn't drink or smoke, and his blood tests were flawless. But he always felt a block below, a cold, lifeless sensation he couldn't explain. After just a few sessions with the pine castor blend, he told me, "For the first time in years, I felt heat spreading from within. I felt awake." That warmth he described, that was circulation and hope returning. But applying the blend is only the beginning. The question now is, where do you apply it? How do you touch, press, and guide it so the body not only receives it, but transforms because of it? The answer lies in how and where you move your hands. What ancient pressure points awaken when you do? 4. How to apply the blend for maximum blood flow. This is the part where everything starts to shift, where knowledge turns into feeling. Because you can hear about castor oil and pine oil all day, but it's only when you place your hands on your body, when you take a few quiet minutes to slow down and apply this blend with intention, that real change begins. I always tell my patients, this isn't just about rubbing oil on your skin. It's a message, a signal to the nerves, the blood vessels, and the deeper tissues that you're ready to reconnect. The body listens when you touch it with purpose. Start by mixing 1 teaspoon of organic castor oil with 2 to 3 drops of pure pine essential oil. Warm it gently. Let the heat wake up the properties inside. Then, find a quiet space. Sit or lie down comfortably, breathe deeply, and begin to apply the oil to your lower abdomen, your inner thighs, and, if you feel comfortable, the area between your scrotum and anus, known as the perineum. Use slow, circular motions. Don't press too hard. You're not trying to fix anything with force. You're inviting blood to return. Let your hands move with care. After a few minutes, place a warm towel over the area and simply rest. The heat drives the oils deeper, helping the tissues soften and the vessels open. Some men say they feel a tingling, others a quiet warmth, but most feel something they hadn't felt in a long time: connection. Still, there's more we can do, because when you combine this ritual with the right pressure points, spots on your body that science and ancient medicine both recognize, you don't just restore blood flow, you reawaken something older, deeper, and more instinctual. And once you know where to press, everything changes. 5. Acupressure. Unlocking the brain-body connection. I've worked with thousands of men, and one of the most overlooked truths I've learned is this: healing doesn't always start in the body. Sometimes, it starts in the mind. But more often than not, it happens right where the two meet. That's why acupressure, though it may seem simple, has become one of the most profound tools I recommend to men over 60. When you apply pressure to the right points, you're not just pushing on the skin, you're opening invisible doors inside your nervous system. And when those doors open, blood, energy, and vitality begin to move. One man I remember well was George, 79. He came into my office not just struggling with intimacy, but with something deeper. A quiet fear that he was fading away, not just physically, but emotionally. His words still echo in my mind. I don't want to disappear from my own body. We didn't start with tests or prescriptions. We started with breath, oil, and touch. Then I showed him 3 pressure points. One on the wrist to calm the heart and reduce stress, one on the inner thigh to awaken pelvic circulation, and one on the top of the foot to support hormone balance and emotional grounding. He practiced this for just a few minutes a day. After 2 weeks, he called me with a voice that sounded more alive than I'd ever heard. "Doc," he said, "I feel like I've come back to life." And it wasn't just his blood flow. It was his sense of presence, of ownership, of being a man in his body again. But as powerful as acupressure can be, it opens another opportunity. A window of healing when your tissues are soft, your blood is flowing, and your body is ready to receive. And in that moment, the food you put into your system can either seal the progress or quietly undo it. What you eat after the ritual matters more than you think. Let me show you why. 6. What to eat. Right after. Lock in the results. There's a moment right after the oils have been applied when the body feels open, softer, warmer, more alive. The tissues are no longer stiff, the vessels have started to relax, and the lymph is moving. It's quiet, almost invisible. But physiologically, this is a golden window. And what you put into your body during this time can either nourish that healing or quietly sabotage it. Most men don't realize that food isn't just fuel. It's medicine or poison, depending on what you choose. I remember working with Bill, a retired firefighter, 72 years old. A strong man, the kind who rarely asked for help. He followed the oil routine to the letter every evening without fail, but after a few weeks, he said something wasn't quite clicking. "I feel better," he told me, "but not like I expected." I asked him to walk me through his evening. That's when the picture became clear. Sausage and white bread washed down with soda. All familiar comfort foods, but loaded with salt, sugar, and inflammatory oils that harden arteries and constrict blood flow. We didn't overhaul his life. We made small, intentional changes right after the routine. A glass of beet juice to support nitric oxide, half an avocado for healthy fats, steamed spinach with garlic and olive oil to relax blood vessels, and a small square of dark chocolate to enhance pelvic circulation. 1 week later, he looked like a new man. His energy returned, his mornings felt different. But most of all, he said, "I feel like I'm supporting my body instead of fighting it." That's what food can do. It either keeps the doors open or shuts them right back down. But as powerful as circulation and nutrition are, there's still one final ingredient that determines whether this change truly lasts. And it's not something you can touch or taste. It's something deeper, quieter, something that starts inside the way you see yourself. 7. The mindset shift, from shame to strength. There's something I've noticed, time and time again, in the eyes of the men who walk into my office after 60. It's not just frustration, it's not just confusion, it's a quiet grief. A steady feeling that somewhere along the way, they lost ownership of their body. Like they woke up one morning and something was just gone. Not just physical sensation, but confidence, identity, presence, and no one ever told them how to get it back. That's why, in my opinion, no recovery is complete without this final step, reclaiming the way you see yourself. Because I can give you the oils, the techniques, the pressure points, and the perfect meal plan. But if, deep down, you still believe you're too old, too far gone, or that this part of you doesn't matter anymore, none of it sticks. I remember one man, Leonard, who started the protocol with perfect discipline, but what really changed him wasn't the oil or the food. It was the moment he looked in the mirror and said, "I'm still here." Something softened in his voice after that. He started walking taller, speaking slower, laughing more, and yes, his circulation improved, but so did everything else. His sleep, his connection with his wife, even the way he carried his hands. Because masculine vitality doesn't vanish. It waits, quietly, until the moment you decide to return to it. Until you stop treating your body like a machine that's breaking down, and start treating it like something sacred, something worth touching, worth nourishing, worth coming home to. And if you're still with me now, I want to take you one step further, because in the final moments of this journey, I want to show you how everything, the oils, the pressure points, the food, the mindset, come together in one daily rhythm. One ritual that could change how you feel every single morning. Let's bring it all home. Conclusion. If you've made it this far, I want you to pause and take a breath, because that tells me something important. You haven't given up. You're still searching, still open, still willing to care for yourself in a way that most men never do. And I want you to know, that's not weakness, that's strength. The kind that doesn't shout, but quietly rebuilds a man from the inside out. Today, we explored something far more powerful than a product or a prescription. We looked at why erections fade after 60, not because your body gave up on you, but because circulation slowed, tissues hardened, and your system stopped being nourished the way it once was. We talked about castor oil, a forgotten oil with a deep healing touch, and pine essential oil, the sharp but gentle force that softens blocked vessels. Together, they're more than a blend. They're a signal to your body that it's safe to wake up again. We went beyond oils, into your hands, into how you touch your own body with intention. We unlocked pressure points that send blood and energy into places long neglected. We chose food that heals rather than harms. And we spoke openly, maybe for the first time in a long while, about the mindset that truly makes healing possible. I've walked this path with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. Men who thought they were too late, too far gone, but every single one of them discovered that strength was never behind them. It was always there, waiting under the surface. Now it's your turn. Choose to show up for yourself. Touch your body like it matters. Feed it like it's worth saving. And believe, not just in the oils or the science, but in the man who's still alive inside you, because he's still here and he's ready.